Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, okay, so I don't even know what the title is. I guess the topic of the video is the stove story. You'll understand more when I get into it. So yeah, let's get right into the video. So basically, obviously I have a stove. Everybody has a stove. So I want to say maybe like back in January. So back in January, one day I was just cooking like I usually do. There was nothing wrong. I was cooking and all of a sudden my stove, I started hearing like this ticking sound, like, so it was like a ticking sound. And obviously I panicked because I'm like, what the heck is this? And I was scared because it sounded like it was ticking. It sounded like it could blow up at any moment. I don't know how, but that's just how it sounded. So I went ahead and just turned off, no, I went ahead and I told my husband, I'm like, okay, can you turn off the TV? He turned off the TV because I thought maybe the sound was coming from the TV or something, right? Wrong, right? So he turned off the TV, and after he turned off the TV, I was like, all right. I kept hearing it, and I'm like, I told him, I'm like, yo, do you hear the sound? And he's like, yeah, I hear it. Turn it off, turn it off. So I turned it off, and we unplugged it, right? So we unplugged the stove. Trust me, you're gonna get it towards the end. So we unplugged the stove, and after we unplugged the stove, I was like, okay, so could you plug it back in so we could see if the ticks, like if we could still hear the tick sound. So he plugged it in, and we were listening, and there was still a ticking sound, like tick tick tick, like it's about to blow up. I don't know if it's because I watched too many movies that I thought it was gonna blow up, but it sounded like it was gonna blow up. So I was like, okay, whatever, done, not dealing with this. Thank God I had already finished cooking, so like the food for the night was ready. It's just the stove was ticking. So of course we unplugged it again because I'm not gonna leave a freaking ticking stove on all night. No, we unplugged this. The ticking sound already stops when we unplugs it. So we eat whatever, right? The next day comes and we're like, all right, so let's try to plug the stove again and see what happens. So we plug the stove again, and we're listening to see where is the sound coming from, and we don't know where it's coming from. We can't hear it nowhere. We don't know what's going on. We don't know where it's coming from. It's not coming from the outlet, because I thought it was coming from the outlet, but it wasn't coming from the outlet. And I was panicked at this point because I'm like, okay, there's no stove. So how are we gonna cook? How are we gonna eat? Like, how are we gonna do anything, right? So I was like, all right, whatever. So of course, as a millennial, oh, what do? You go on Amazon, right? I go on Amazon and I found like this portable what is it? I don't even know what it's called. It's like a portable 2 plate type of like little electric stove. Like, it's not a stove, but like just like a small thingy that you could cook on, you know? I forget what it's called, but like I don't know. Like, you would know. Like, it's this long, right? And then it has like, all right, let me find the name because I don't even know what I can. Let me find the name. Okay, give me a minute. It's all right. So it is what is it called? As a hot plate electric double burner for cooking. Alright, that's exactly what it is. So it's a double burner basically. So I figured, alright, we need to cook as soon as possible, and it's gonna take us probably a while to find like a nice stove, because if we're gonna replace the stove now, I want a nicer one or whatever, and then delivery and all of that is gonna take too long. So as a temporary solution, we could just get the double burner and just deal with that, right? So that's what we're doing for like 2 days, right? So the first day the double burner worked fine. The second day it was just a mess, and like it was something that I could cook for 20 minutes on the stove was taking me an hour to make on the double burner, and I was over it, So, but then by the third day, that's why I had my breakdown, because I was like, yo, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't use this anymore because it's stressing me out. It's taking way too long. And sometimes, like, you put the food on and the stove will turn off by itself. So you gotta come turn it back on like every 5 minutes. Not the stove, sorry, the burner. You gotta come turn it on like every 5 minutes. And it was so crazy because it's like, yo, what is this? And obviously, I don't want to Uber Eats every day. You know what I mean? Like... So yeah, so then like by the 4th day I was like, no. I told him, I said, yeah, we're gonna go get a new stove, and I started looking for a stove, right? started looking for a new stove. There was a stove that we went to see, and the guy was like, all right, we can do like 3-day delivery, that we could like deliver it for you in like 3 days. And in my head I'm like, 3 days, what am I gonna do for 3 days? Like, how am I gonna cook in 3 days? Because I'm definitely not using the double burner. Like, it was a lot. Like, I want you to keep in mind that like it was a lot of stress, and it was, first of all, it was money wasted that we bought the burner with. It was a money wasted because the thing barely even worked. And second of all, it was a lot of stress on us, and well, on me especially. And third of all, like, my stove was still not working, right? So then we're like, all right, so you know what, if we're gonna get a new stove, might as well get a new fridge as well. So my fridge, it worked fine. Like, we were just like, okay, if we're gonna do it, might as well just go all in. Because here basically, your stove and your fridge, you can't just throw them. You gotta have somebody come and pick it up and bring it to, like, I don't know if it's like junkyard or something like that. They use it for like pieces and stuff. So we would have had to have somebody come and pick up the stove and pick up the fridge. And also we would have had like the company basically deliver the stove and the fridge, the new stove and the fridge. So we were like, all right, let's just do that, whatever. So we got in contact with somebody like a week. This is like I want to say like 5 or 6 days after the stove broke down. So it was like, this was like a whole week thing. So I like day and night I was like, okay, trying to find somebody to come pick up the stove and the fridge. And I was texting a bunch of people on this app that we have here. Like, you would just, like, this app that we have here, you could go and search for anything. You could search for somebody to pick up your stuff. You could search for what's it called, the mover guys. You can search for anything. You just tap on the app, you know. And so I was typing on the app, searching, trying to get in contact with a bunch of people. Like, it was a thing for a whole day. So I was able to secure the person that was gonna come pick up the thing. So this was Friday. No, this was Thursday. No, this was Friday morning. I had secured somebody was supposed to come to the house at 9 a.m. to pick up the stove and the fridge. And then at 10 a.m. yeah, 9 a.m. they were gonna pick it up. And then at 10 a.m. we were gonna go to the store to look at the stove and to look at the fridge that we were buying for sure. And we were gonna have them delivery here. So that was gonna be that. And then the 10th, and then the other thing was gonna be what's it called? No, I think that's it. So it was those two things, but we had everything booked. So it was something booked for 9, there was something booked for 10, it was something booked for 11, and by 12 we're supposed to be good and everything was supposed to be fine, right? So I was like, okay, cool, that's what we're gonna do. So Friday night comes. Friday around like 8 p.m. comes. The store texts me. Well, the store calls me. They're like, hey, by the way, we're not gonna have the thing that you wanted in stock anymore. We're probably gonna have it again, maybe in like a month. And I'm like, oh, what? Mind you, at this point I have no stove, okay? I have somebody booked. This is like 8 p.m. Somebody's coming tomorrow morning to pick up the stove and the fridge. So I'm gonna be stoveless and fridgeless, and yet I'm not gonna have a replacement. So I was like, no, not gonna happen. I'm not gonna do this. As soon as I got off the phone with them, I was like, no, forget it, cancel the order, cancel everything. I don't need it in a month, I need it right now. Like, my stove's not working, and I don't want any other ones that they wanted to show me, whatever. I was like, no, we want this like right now, so forget it. So then we canceled everything. And then I had to call the guy that was supposed to pick up the stuff at 9 and be like, hey, by the way, sorry, like, it's okay, we won't need you to come pick it up anymore. So I canceled all of that, right? And now I'm in the kitchen. It's like 10 and everything's canceled for the next day. And I'm like, okay, so what are we gonna do? Because there's no solution. We still have the old stove and it's not working, it's ticking. And then something comes to my head. I'm like, all right. So my husband, I'm like, let's do it one more time. Let's just try to plug the stove one more time. Mind you, at this point we haven't plugged it in like 4 or 5 days. Like, we haven't plugged it. So we plug it. He's like, what's the point? I'm like, let's just plug it. Because my whole plan was, let's plug it. Let me hear where the tick comes from. And then I'll probably go on YouTube or something and try to figure out how to fix the tick coming from here. Or we're probably going to call somebody to come repair something, you know. And we didn't call somebody to come repair it. That wasn't our first thought. Because I was like, all right. For me, it was like an excuse. All right, let's just get a new stove. Like, it is what it is, you know. So then he plugged it back in, and we still heard it tick. And then I was like, all right. So this time, instead of us panicking and unplugging it, we wanted to see where is the tick coming from. And we looked and we looked and we looked. And first of all, I have a old school stove, so your stove might not have this, but my stove has like this timer thingy. And so we looked and we looked, and I heard that it was, the tick was coming from like this timer thingy. Like, it's a thing you could like turn, you know, like how when you're about to grill or bake chicken and stuff, like you turn the thingy and you turn it back. There was a thing that you could turn, and I'm like, all right. And like the tick was coming from there, so I got closer and I turned, and you guessed it, the tick went away. And I'm like, oh, what? And we're looking at each other like, no, this can't be it. No. So unplug it again, unplug it again. Tick was gone. And then we took the thing and we turned it just to make sure that that's where the tick was coming from. Tick, 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 tick. And I'm like, this whole time, this whole week, this whole like week and a half, we wasted money. I was stressed because of that little burner thing was not working, wasn't doing nothing. I wasted time trying to find somebody to come pick up the stove. The whole time the stove was working, and all I had to do was just... And that's when I came to the realization, and that's why this is a video. One thing to learn in this is that we plan and God laughs. There's things in our life that I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but you have planned. You plan something, you're like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do, this is what I'm gonna do, this is what I'm gonna do. It seems like a perfect plan for you, but then the day of, nothing goes as planned. Something completely different happens. So yeah, that's the first lesson I want you guys to learn in this story, is that we plan and God laughs, and God's plan is always the best. So the whole time when we were stressing out, buying a new burner, buying a this and that, God knew like all that's wrong with the stove is just, you gotta do this. Like, they start canceling on us was a sign, because we would have wasted all that money. What was all that money while we had a working stove? You know what I mean? So that was another lesson. So yeah, that was one of the lesson number one. We plan. The lesson number two I would say is that whenever you're going through a situation, whenever something's happening, it's very important to, instead of panic being your first response, it's very important to step back and evaluate the situation and see, okay, so like really evaluate the situation. What's my situation? What are my options? How can I fix this? Is there something that I'm doing? Is there something that somebody else is doing? How do I make this situation better? Because if we had stepped back and evaluated, okay, what's wrong with this stove? Where is that tick really coming from? Look, so how can we fix it? Can we do this? Can we do that instead of just jumping and like doing something else instead? So it's kind of like, this is not working, so forget it, I'm just going to try to do this. Instead of doing that, if we had just evaluated it, we probably would have realized it was the tick from the beginning, and we would not have wasted time, been stressed, wasted money, and like trying all these alternatives when we already have something that's working, and all we need to do is just flip this, it's just turn it. That's all we needed to do, you know. And another thing I want to say is that very important to, like, let's say you're in a career, like you just started this job and like nothing's working, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm frustrated, this is not working. Instead of trying to figure out why is it not working and what can I do to change to make it work, or you know, or like, yeah, what can I do to make it work, what we often end up doing is just, you know, I don't like this job, this is stressing me out, forget it, leave it, and then you go somewhere else. And oftentimes you go somewhere else and it's even worse than where you were before. And so I think that the lesson that we have learned overall is that it's very important to take you, like, if something is not working out, or if it's a situation is not working out, or if you're out of school and you don't like the major or whatever it is, instead of just quitting and going on to the next one, because you don't know what's on the other side, instead of just quitting and going on to what's on the next one, it's very important to try to evaluate and try to see, okay, maybe I should be doing, you know, maybe like let's say there's like the main like business, you know, maybe instead of doing finance, maybe I should be doing, you know, what's it called, instead of doing finance, maybe I should be doing entrepreneurship, instead of, maybe I should be doing accounting. Let's see if I like that one better, or like, you know what I mean, as opposed to being like, you know what, I hate maths, forget it, I'm just gonna go and do science, forget it. You know what I mean? It's very important to really look at your situation, evaluate it, note out your option and figure out, okay, this is what's going to be the best option for me, the option that's not going to make me stressed, that's not going to make me waste my time, that's not going to make me waste my money, that's not going to make me waste anything, you know what I mean? And so yeah, it's kind of like, so yeah, like even like when you know, I think you guys get the idea. It's like, it's very important, because the problem, because in our head you may think it's a big problem, like I thought the store was gonna blow up, like it's a big problem, whatever, when in reality it's just a small problem that if you just pay attention you can fix it slightly. Whatever problem you're having in, you know, in your marriage, whatever problem you're having in your household, whatever problem you're having with your friends, whatever problem you're having with your family, to us may seem like a very big problem, and sometimes they are big problems, but the solution could literally be as simple as just switching. And the switching could be just removing yourself from that situation. The switching could be just to stop answering calls from toxic people. The switching could be just to start reading your Bible more. The solution could be so simple to a problem that we try to make big, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's it for this video, and I hope you guys learned something from this, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.